Welcome back to another one of Nathan Bell's thoroughly excellent commentary videos. Give it a like, give it a share, subscribe to his channels, tell your friends. Today, Nate wants to talk to you about hybrid publishers.
Yeah, well, I've become very passionate about these hybrid publishers because they're like a legitimate scam. When I finished writing Kings of the New Age, The Quest of the Balancing Stones, I spoke to a couple of these hybrid publishers about whether they could promote my book. Now, they often charge people $1,500 to $2,000 to publish a book. Now, I know a few people who've published this way, and I'm not satisfied with these hybrid publishers, and I'm going to write to the appropriate representative in government about these hybrid publishers, because they are publishing books for thousands of Australians and charging this $2,000, $3,000 fee to thousands of Australians. And what I want authors to realise is they don't really, from what I can see, now I could be wrong, they seem to offer a semi-legitimate service. You pay them the money and then they edit your book, and they will do some cover art for you, and they will edit your book, but they won't do any promoting, and they won't get you in the bookshops. And what authors have got to realise is you've got to get in the bookshops. I'm not in the bookshops, but I'm out on the street selling my book. Now, all three of the people who I know who have published this way haven't sold any books after they've published to pay these hybrid publishers $2-3 grand. Now, I've self-published my book and I've sold 520 copies because you have to get out and you have to stand on the street and you have to get in the bookshops. You have to do the legwork. I've also organised my own publicity and promotion. These hybrid publishers, I don't think they do that for you. I don't think they're going to get you publicity opportunities. And what I want to say to authors is, I know it's hard to accept, but you've got to realise your book might be crap and nobody might like your book. And that's why with traditional publishers, there's a vetting process. You submit to the publisher, and if they don't think it's commercial or it's good enough or of a good enough standard, they won't publish it. And you then have to sit there and rewrite your book until it's of a standard that someone approves of your book, feeling that it's actually going to be popular. These hybrid publishers, they'll publish a book for anyone who gives them $3 grand to publish the book, and all they do is list it on Amazon and list it on these different online platforms, which you can absolutely list your own book on those platforms. And that's what I said to these people I know who publish these books. I said, you can list your own books on these platforms. All you've got to do is sign up to an account and upload your book and get someone to do your cover art, and you can do everything. These publishers companies are going to charge you $3 grand to do something that you can do yourself. Then they're not going to promote your book. They're not going to get you in the bookshops. They're not going to get you press opportunities. It's a complete legitimate legal scam. One of the guys I know who published this way is this random guy. I don't know if he plays drums, but he's written a book about a drummer's manual. Who is he to write a drummer's manual? He's some random guy. He doesn't have a job. I'm not aware that he's been in any popular bands. He's written a drummer's manual, right? I don't know how much he knows about drumming, and he's in the works of paying one of these companies $3 grand to publish his drummer's manual. He's not an accredited authority on drumming. They'll publish absolutely any rubbish as long as you're willing to pay them the $3 grand. So, I think it's a legitimate scam, and I'm going to write, I want to write to Fair Trade or someone about this. But, you can't just think that you're going to pay a company $3 grand and then all of a sudden your book is going to start selling. You have to be business-minded if you want your book to sell. And you also have to acknowledge, as I said, that your book might not be very good. I'm sorry to say it to you. My book's all right, and I only know that because I've sold so many copies and so many people have come back and told me they thoroughly enjoyed my book. Also, I'm intelligent enough a man that I was capable of writing an engaging, exciting book, and I had support from mentors as well to write, from reliability to write an engaging and exciting book. But I'm a self-published author, and I've sold 520 copies, and I've had to stand in the street, and I stand in the street for 6, 7, 8 hours a day asking everyone who comes by if they'd like to buy my book. What I think about these companies is I still think people should be going with traditional publishers. You should expect that if you're going to get a book published through a company, especially if they're asking you for money, that they are going to get you publicity opportunities, that they are going to get your books in bookshops, that they are going to get you in newspapers and doing press engagements, and that they are going to actually tell you the truth about whether your book is very good or not. Now I know that there are thousands of Australians paying this 2-3 grand fee to get these books published, and it's not going anywhere for them. So they're and I find it manipulative, and I consider them to be a complete sham. So I discourage Australian authors from going with these hybrid publishers. If you really want to get out there as an author, either be confident in your book and write a good book that you know is good and engaging, then get out, and you have to go out to the bookshops and you have to get consignment contracts with the bookshops. You have to go to each bookshop and you have to say, this is my book. Will you take 10 copies and then sell them, and then I get a cut? You have to do the legwork, because these companies, these hybrid publishers, they're not doing that for the authors that they're taking money from. And they're taking money from thousands of Australians. So you have to do the legwork yourself. So self-publish, or really the better option is still to go with a traditional publisher. This is like a cheap way to get a book out there. You should go with a traditional publisher and go through the standard vetting process where you submit to a publisher, and you should expect that the publisher will allocate a budget for promotion and publicity. See, these hybrid publishers, if you ask them, what is the budget you're allocating to promote and publicise my book? They're not allocating a budget to promote and publicise your book. There's none of that. They're just listing it on online platforms that you can list it on yourself, and they're charging you $3 grand to do that, and some basic cover art and a basic edit. So I encourage authors to stay with traditional publishers who will allocate a budget for promotion and publicity, a traditional publisher who may even give you an advance payment if they feel your book is good enough that it will sell. You may even get an advance. You still want to expect a publisher of the caliber that they will offer you an advance, and they will tell you what their publicity budget is to promote your book. So, I discourage Australians from going with these hybrid publishers. I think it's basically a legitimate scam, and I foresee that in the next 10 to 20 years there's going to be a flood of complaints to the appropriate government agencies from Australians who've been taken advantage of by these companies, and we're going to see that the government is going to come in and start punishing these companies for what they're doing, because they're not legitimate, they're con artists, right? So don't go with these companies. So that's what I wanted to say about these hybrid publishers. Go with a traditional publisher, or if you're really confident in your book, self-publish, manufacture yourself, and do the legwork to get it in the bookshops and to get it in. I don't get mine in the bookshops. I stand in the street and sell mine, and that's gone well for me, but not everybody wants to do that. You can go to a market, you can go to markets, and you can sell your book at a market. Don't think it's this easy thing. You've got to be business-minded. If you think your book is just going to take off, you're joking yourself. You've got to put in the work. So that's just what I wanted to comment on these hybrid publishers. So drop a comment in the comment section about what you think about these companies, and let me know what you think, guys. Thanks.